If you're thinking about moving to the Reno, Nevada area, you need to know about these 3 sneaky suburban communities that could change the game for your housing search. Chances are you already know about Midtown and Downtown and Damani Ranch, and that's all with good reason. Those are some of the most sought after and desirable places in the city of Reno to live. You may have also heard about the Sparks Marina and Spanish Springs, but I'm willing to bet that some of these sneaky suburbs are places that haven't crossed your mind to live, and maybe they should, so I'm gonna tell you why. Stay with me. First up is Cold Springs. This is a community that's about a 20-minute drive from the center of downtown in Reno. That may seem like quite a commute, and at certain times of day you do need to know that the traffic will make it that way. However, if you can time your drive times at the right moment and avoid high traffic times and rush hours, you might find that you actually really like living in Cold Springs. The average cost of a single-family residential home in Cold Springs is $445,000 at the time of making this video. You'll find in that community that the homes are bigger, they're on more spacious lots, so it feels like you get a much bigger bang for your buck. In fact, the identical home in Damani Ranch would probably cost about $100,000 to $200,000 more. As of right now, Cold Springs is somewhat considered transitional just because it's sort of far away from the epicenter of the city. That being said, there is a whole lot of development going on up there. There are Walmarts, there are all kinds of grocery stores, Rayleigh, Smith's, shopping centers, there's parks, there's playgrounds, there are even restaurants, bars, and retail complexes. This means that you don't have to sacrifice any of your quality of life that you would find anywhere else in Reno other than it being a 20-minute drive to downtown. So if you're looking to stretch your dollar, I would consider looking at homes in the Cold Springs area. All right, our second suburban area that's a little bit sneaky just because not a ton of people have heard of it if you don't live here are the North Valleys. This is sort of a cluster of communities that are just south of Cold Springs. This is where you're gonna find Lemon Valley, Golden Valley, and Panther Valley. These communities are just north of the McCarran Loop if you continue north on the 395 heading away from downtown. The average cost of a single-family residential home in the North Valleys at the time of making this video is $460,000. So, you are just a little bit closer to downtown than you were in Cold Springs, which was our first community that we talked about. And because of this, homes do cost just slightly more than they would up north, although in some people's eyes, Cold Springs and North Valleys are still kind of one area. For the most part, if you are living in the North Valleys, you will be shopping in many of the same places for groceries as you would be if you were living in Cold Springs. So it's not necessarily that big of a difference. It is geographically slightly different. It's about 5 to 8 minutes closer, depending on which part of the North Valleys that you're living in, to get to downtown and other amenities. Again, in this area, you're gonna find, for the most part, that homes are a little bit more spread out, that they have bigger lots, and that they cost a little bit less than they would in some better known communities in Reno. All right, our last secret sneaky suburb of Reno that you should consider if you're going to move to this area is Verdi. Verdi is actually more of a luxury level place to live. Price points there tend to be a bit higher. That's because you are mostly on larger lots surrounded by the mountains, may or may not have views or access to the Truckee River. If you do, of course, that's gonna cost you a pretty penny more. And not to mention that you are that much closer to the north shore of Lake Tahoe and on the verge of Truckee. At the time of making this video, the average cost of a single-family residential home in Verdi is $799,000. Most likely at that price point, you're looking at a home in a subdivision or something that's closer to a lot of neighbors. If you're looking for a more secluded, more private parcel, you are going to be paying well over $1 million for something like that, most likely. Again, being that you're outside the city, and it's just about 15 minutes from downtown to be precise, you will have more space, you're gonna have a bigger lot, you will have a bigger home. However, you are gonna pay quite a bit more for these things than you would in North Valleys or in Cold Springs. So, if you are looking to move to the Reno area and you are seeking seclusion and privacy and a more luxury level home, then I would recommend that you search in Verdi. All right, you guys, my name's Sarah Sperber. I am a Reno real estate agent. I would love to hop on a call with you if you're thinking of making a move in the next year or so. There is a free link to do so in the description box below. Go ahead and click it. Make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button. It really helps me out, and that way you don't miss any of my upcoming content. All right, I will see you next time. Thanks, guys.